The Curse of the Bambino.
Is that what it's called?
Yes,
oh
it
my
is.
Gosh.
When Babe Ruth.
You would know this.
Now I'm really going into this. Hold on, let me finish the dive.
Played baseball. He collected baseball cards like unironically as a child.
What do you mean unironically? That's our 401k right there.
Oh, yikes! We're in trouble. No.
I have rookie cards y'all wouldn't believe.
Hello and welcome to the Worldwide Honeymoon Travel Podcast, the podcast that talks about all things couples travel, including destinations, tips, advice, and more. I'm Kat.
I'm Chris.
And this is episode number 218.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
Bienvenue à maison. Is that right? Welcome to home.
I guess.
What do you mean you guess? You have like 1,000-day streak.
Wouldn't it be like chez toi? I know, but like we don't always. I'm not like fluent in every single bit of French, but I thought it was funny that I bought a bag. Like I just bought like a grocery bag from like just a reusable grocery bag because I really like the ones that they sell in France. I know they have them. You can get on Amazon here, but you can fold them up and just stick them in your purse, and then whenever you go to a market, you could just pop it out, unfold it, and you have a bag.
I think they have those here too.
I mean, they do have them here, but you don't like.
But they're not French.
You don't see them all the time. But in French, it says "c'est sac" or "c'est bleu sac et vert." And I was like,
this blue sack is green.
Yeah, this blue sack is green. And I was like, oh, okay, that's like silly. It's a blue bag, whatever. And then Christopher sees it and he's like, I get it. Green, like good for the environment. And I was like, I don't know.
Like eco-green.
Like eco-friendly green. And I was like, that makes more sense. I didn't even think about it the whole time I was there. I was just like, oh, this blue sack is green. But yes, I just returned from France, where I spent 4 days in Champagne. I went to Epernay and Reims. Probably still said it wrong. In English, it looks like it says Reims, like R-E-I-M-S. It is pronounced completely differently in French. And I was there for a couple of days, and I just could not still quite master how to say it. But
say it again.
Reims.
Reims.
Yeah. Reims.
Reims.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No.
Darn it.
You were rolling your tongue.
Well.
France. That is not it. But yeah, we're doing our best here, but it was a lot of fun going to those two towns. I feel like I'm going to probably do an episode about that here soon because it was fantastic.
You also went to Paris.
And I spent a week in Paris. So I will be talking about Paris. And
how do you say Paris in French?
Paris.
Say it again.
Paris.
How do you do that R?
It took years to do this R.
Paris.
I mean, it's kind of...
Is that close? Hold on. Paris.
I mean, mine's not perfect still.
I sound terrible.
It helps going to France a lot because I found what's really helped me with like French pronunciation, which by no means is it perfect at all, but it helps to watch native French speakers actually move their mouth when they're talking because they move their mouth differently when they say different words. Just like in English, we do the same thing with like we move our mouths differently when we speak.
Paris.
So like when you see people,
this is not going.
So it
well.
really helps to both hear and see people speaking in French because then you can sort of mimic that and then you can start getting the words.
Chalk this up. One of my goals for this year is to learn the French R.
The French R. That is hard. I mean, I talked to someone in France about, I feel like the French R is sort of like the English H because for them, they don't pronounce H's.
Hotel.
So like hotel, like it's very hard for them to be like, huh. Like that noise is very tough for them.
Yeah, but at least that's like exhale. You know what I mean?
I don't know because I feel like the R seems like...
I feel like the R
once you get it, it's like better.
But it's almost like stuck in your throat.
No, because it's not that deep. It's more subtle than that. Like it's more like at the very back of your tongue, not deep in your throat.
Now I'm just embarrassing myself.
No, it's fine. It's like it takes a long time to learn and I'm still trying to perfect it, but I'm far better than I used to be.
Nice.
So that's a start. I even did a tour only in French. I went to the museum.
That's very impressive.
I went to the Museum of Fairground Arts, which first of all, we saw it in midnight in Paris. I was like, this looks cool. I want to go. You can also ride on the carousels. It's fantastic. the tour's only in French. You have to go on the tour. And I didn't realize that almost every single person that went on the tour also brought their children, because as you can imagine, a museum of fairground arts would be a lot of fun for little kids. And I was the only grown adult person that did not have a child with me. I was also the only person that probably wasn't like a native French speaker on this tour. And
did you understand most of it?
I did, which was good.
That's incredible.
And there was even like an adorable little girl who was like being a little sassy and stuff. And like, the guide was like, don't ever change. You're adorable. But yeah.
Isn't that such a great feeling when you can, like, when you realize that you're understanding more than just like a sentence at a time?
Yeah, it was helpful. So I felt very proud of that. But I was also very nervous because she would call on people on the tour. And I was like, please don't call on me. Please don't call on me. Because I would I know I would like freeze up and get nervous. And then everyone would just know automatically. Because I blended in, right? Except for the not having a child thing.
Who's this pervert?
Yeah. No, I was excited. I don't know why more adults, like, it's a cool museum with, like, fairground arts from, like, the turn of the century. It's really cool. And you get to ride on it and play with the games. Like, I thought it was really fun.
Was it like Chuck E. Cheese? Did they give tickets?
No, you just got to like
disappointing.
see it. And there was like, I don't know, it was like a really fun activity to do as a grown adult person as well. But everyone,
It looked really neat.
yeah. And I think they believed I was French. I mean, people kind of spoke to me in French and I was like, oh my gosh, if the lady calls me out and I need to answer something, I'm going to be so like self-conscious because they're going to know that I'm not a native French speaker.
Well,
Yeah.
the jig was almost up.
It was, except I won during there was a game where the horses, you know, where they have the horses and you try to like do the skee ball sort of thing to like make them move. I won when it was my round. Well, she just asked me like what my name was or whatever, and it was fine.
What did you say?
Catherine.
And then did she say anything else?
She was just like, oh, bravo, like clap for Catherine, or, you know, like
Clap for Catherine.
Like it was like first place is Catherine, second place is so-and-so, and like that sort of thing.
Did you trash talk to any of the kids?
No, well, because the kids all went first. And then they had like a group of adults, and then
Hold on, were
whoever
you
didn't
just
go.
playing by yourself?
No, they
okay.
they let all the kids go first,
Okay.
and then they let the adults go. So it was like the kids, then like a first round of adults, and then a second round of adults,
And
just so everyone got a turn.
And you won in the adults heat?
I did.
First or second heat?
It was. We only got to go once. Everyone did. So
Right, but were you in the first group or the second group?
I was in the last group. Man. Yeah.
Wow, this is... Let them know.
I think the coolest part was there was a bicycle carousel where you literally power it yourself via bicycle. And so everyone's biking around powering this, and it gets fast. And the whole time I'm like, because there was one time I lost my footing and it's still going, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get back on there. Like, it was a good time.
It sounds like a great trip.
Aside from that, Paris was great. It was wonderful. I can definitely talk more about that in another episode as well. So
Yes.
let's get into this. Did you have a good time while I was away?
I did.
Batching it with Professor?
You know,
Cat?
just holding it down,
Holding it down.
you know?
Professor was so happy to see me when I came home on Monday.
He
It
was.
so cute.
It was
He's
very
been
cute.
like sitting on my backpack and things ever since. But anyway.
My highlight is your return home.
Oh.
What's your highlight? Not that.
No. Definitely seeing you and getting Bubs hugging me when I got back. And
But also I really like France.
no, I would say the highlight of Paris, I think Champagne was really fun. Just going
Nice.
to that. That was cool. I geeked out over wine, learned some new things. Yeah.
Cool. All right. This is the last episode in our One Thing in Each U.S. State series. So this was recommended by a listener. And the premise is that you have to pick the one thing in each state. Now, the thing can be like, it doesn't have to be like, this is how you're going to spend an afternoon, right? It can be like, oh, in this state, you should visit a city or a park or what have you. So we've been doing that. The Southeast was episode 217. Midwest was 216. West was 215. Southwest was 214. And now we are here in the Northeast.
We are.
Yeah, this is, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to kind of, I don't want to say wrapping up the series because it's over, but I thought it was a really unique idea. And I think it's also kind of a cool way to create like your own individual bucket list of what to do. So our first state here in the Northeast is Connecticut.
It is.
What is your one thing to do in Connecticut?
I said to visit the town of Mystic, Connecticut.
Hit me with it.
It is a waterfront town, and I feel like I've heard of Mystic before, like Mystic Pizza. I don't know if that's a movie or something like that or whatever, but it's a waterfront town in Connecticut. It has a beautiful drawbridge. There are boutiques and shops and cute local inns, like little bed and breakfast. You can take a Mystic River cruise. There's the Mystic Seaport Museum, the aquarium, and breweries like the Barley Head Brewery. And like any charming town, Connecticut's got a good gazebo. They know what to do about gazebos. You know what I mean?
Are you sure that they have a gazebo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
So very cute, charming seafront town. I feel like it's very quintessential Connecticut and or Northeast vibes. You know what I mean? What is your thing to do in Connecticut?
Mine is to visit and travel between the Thimble Islands via watercraft.
Now, what does that entail?
Well, it entails water and a craft. Kayak.
Boat.
Canoe.
Canoe.
There's a ferry, that sort of thing. I mean, really any of them.
Windsurfing.
But the Thimble Islands are a little archipelago of small islands in the Long Island Sound.
Archipelago.
What?
No, just keep going.
My goodness. The things I do to the French language, you insist upon doing to the English language.
That's what's coming from the South for you.
There you go. No. But yeah, there were a lot of itineraries that I was reading about that were like, it was just a very relaxing, scenic day, just being out on the water, kind of kayaking between islands. And I don't know, that just kind of spoke to me. Being out on the water in the Northeast, I don't know.
Watercrafting.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I chose for Connecticut.
Nice.
State number 2 is Maine.
I feel like we have the same. Acadia.
1, 2, 3.
Acadia. National Park.
27 miles of road, 158 miles of hiking, 45 miles of carriage roads. Mm-hmm. There's hiking, bicycling, birding, stargazing, tide pooling.
Yeah.
Right?
I love the idea of tide pooling. Just like all the little critters and just seeing what you can see. Hiking
is especially interesting here because they have a lot of like ladder rungs built into the rocks that are necessary for hiking the trails.
So of course you're sold.
100%. Remember when we were near the waterfall in Playa Nicuesa in Costa Rica, and there was that way to like continue with the metal ladder rungs?
I thought we were going to. I don't know why we didn't.
It had rained and they were too slippery. And I said they didn't look too slippery.
Okay. All right.
And I was not allowed to climb them.
But it was a beautiful waterfall pool that we were in, and I felt like I was on a date on The Bachelor. It was beautiful. We had a great time. But in Acadia National Park, aside from that, some highlights are Thunder Hole, Cadillac Mountain, and then nearby you've got the Bass Harbor Headlight, Bar Harbor, Bahaba. Yeah. And then obviously cruising around in the national park.
There you go.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Acadia is
up there for you.
Up there for me. I would say, like, out of the national parks in the U.S., I would say that it's probably within my top 5 that I want to visit.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Our next state is Massachusetts.
So I used to being from the South, I used to never say I would call it Massachusetts.
Hold on, say it again.
Massachusetts.
Well, thank goodness I introduced it.
No, it wasn't until I this is embarrassing to say this, but when I studied abroad, like I knew how it was like roughly spelled, you know, like
when you studied abroad in college.
Yeah.
You learned that there were a few T's in there?
No. I just never pronounced them that way. I just was like, oh, well, there's T's in there, but like people don't say it. You know what I mean? And like, so I went and there was a girl from Connecticut that I was studying with. And I was like, yeah, Massachusetts. And she was like, I'm sorry, what? And then I was like, yeah, Massachusetts. And she was like, Chusets. There's like, you got to pronounce the T's. And I was like, well, I don't know. That's how nobody said that around me growing up.
And she was from Connecticut?
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Okay. Massachusetts, what is your top thing to do?
Well, you go first. I did. Well, actually, we both had Acadia. Mine is Boston.
Oh, okay.
What is yours?
Where you had your bachelor party. We'll talk about Boston.
Boston. So, well, I'll start with what we did partially for the bachelor party, which was a lot of breweries up there. Mm-hmm. My favorite one that we went to is called
partially most of it. No.
Yeah, well, that's I mean, there's also something else I'm going to mention. Night Shift was one that I remember really, really liking. It also has a pretty sick logo. Look up Night Shift. If you guys are listening.
Boston, maybe add a few more keywords
Just
because Night Shift could mean a lot of things.
Night Shift Brewing. Okay. Boston Beer Company, Sam Adams is up there. I still have my pint glass from that trip. I am a big baseball fan. Fenway Park, probably maybe the most iconic ballpark.
And you guys went to a baseball game during your bachelor party, didn't you?
We did, yes.
Yeah. Breweries and baseball and brats.
Brats are Milwaukee.
That's true. I was trying to come up
Different
with another
bachelor party.
Yeah, that's true. One of your friends had his bachelor party in Milwaukee.
Fenway was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Especially as kind of a sports buff. It's one of those stadiums that like you always see on TV, and it's the one with the green monster, and I have a whole bunch of memories of the Red Sox beating Cleveland over the years, which was disappointing. But I also remember very vividly when the Red Sox won the World Series and broke their titleless streak. Yeah, the curse.
Yeah.
The curse of the Bambino.
Is that what it's called?
Yes,
oh
it is.
Gosh.
When Babe Ruth.
You would know this.
Now I'm really going into this. Hold on, let me finish the dive.
Played baseball. He collected baseball cards like unironically as a child.
What do you mean unironically? That's our 401k right there.
Oh, yikes! We're in trouble. No.
I have rookie cards y'all wouldn't believe.
Okay, he collected them. He played baseball. Like he loves himself some baseball. But yes, continue about the Great Bambino or whatever.
The curse of the Great Bambino.
The curse of the Great Bambino.
Babe Ruth leaving the Red Sox, going to the Yankees. But yeah, so like there's just a whole bunch of history there. So Fenway was pretty cool. Boston also hosts quite a bit of American history. The Freedom Trail is in Boston. That includes 16 different historical locations, one of which we just kind of stumbled upon, the site of the Boston Massacre, when we were just like walking around downtown one evening, and all of a sudden there's like a little plaque. We're like, oh my gosh, we did not go to the rest of them. And then they also have a pretty sick museum culture, including the Museum of Fine Arts. So Boston is my Massachusetts pick.
And I would say, aren't they one of the biggest cities outside of like Dublin and like Ireland in general to have like a pretty big St. Patrick's Day festivities? I know Chicago does, but I'm pretty sure Boston has a big celebration as well because they have a huge Irish ancestry population.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. So lots of things to do in Boston. But I chose Martha's Vineyard.
You would, bougie.
Okay. But
Champagne to Martha's Vineyard.
You know me, drinking a little Krug. Which I found out. Okay, can I just tell you just a little, I mean, maybe I should save this for the champagne episode. I'll just repeat it in the champagne episode. Don't worry. We went to one of the vineyards and they were like, what's the champagne that like you guys drink when it's like real special? You know, not just your own that you make. And they're like, Krug, hands down. They're like, Dom Perignon, that's what you drink at the club. But if you have like a real special, it's Krug.
At the club?
Yeah, they're like, go to the club, you drink Dom. I don't know who's paying. I'm not paying for that. But, and then she was like, but if it's like a real big celebration, really special, it's Krug. That's what people are drinking.
Cool.
I didn't bring you back Krug.
Thank you.
It was expensive.
Well, it's not a celebration when you're coming back. Okay. Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard. Okay. A lot to do here. I mean, it's, again, very New England vibes. But there's beaches. And there are protected shallow surf areas, lots of like beaches and stuff to go and hang out in. The Aquanaut Cliffs that were carved by glaciers millions of years ago, so very beautiful to go see. The Egerton Lighthouse, or Egertown Lighthouse. The Felix, I can't read my own handwriting, but Felix Neck Wildlife Sanctuary as well. So wildlife sanctuary, and again, very New Englandy vibes. Yes, it can be a little like upscale, like, summer in Martha's Vineyard, but it's just a cute area. Boutique shops, little bed and breakfasts, quintessential New England beach vibes. You know what I mean?
You have been saying New England vibes.
I just feel like there's a lot of vibes with New England, like depending on where you're at. You know what I mean?
Depending on where you're at, I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
State number 4 is New Hampshire.
Okay.
What is your one thing to do in New Hampshire?
Okay, I'm going to try to pronounce this. I even wrote down how to pronounce this phonetically. We will see. Something to do in the fall, specifically.
This ought to be good.
Is Kankamagus Highway.
Okay.
All
Tell
right.
me about Kankamagus Highway.
It is 34 miles long.
Do you run it or?
No, you drive it. And
for only 34 miles?
Yeah. Well, it's like, will you stop? I'm not running that. It's a scenic byway. And yeah, I mean, it's superb scenic fall foliage in the autumn months to go and drive. So there's so much fall foliage. I've only seen pictures of it. I would love, when we originally planned our New England fall itinerary, I was going to plan us driving through it because it's so scenic. I mean, you saw Vermont, you saw upstate New York on the way to Vermont, how beautiful it was, but Kankamagus Highway, that's the place. But they have things like the Albany Covered Bridge, Lower Falls Scenic Area, Rocky Gorge Scenic Area. So there's waterfalls, there's beautiful scenic lookouts, and of course, vibrant fall foliage. So for me, that is definitely up there for a New Hampshire trip in the fall. Like Vermont, New Hampshire and even Maine seem like idyllic places to go to for leaf peeping, vibrant fall foliage.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My pick for New Hampshire was also something that we were going to do when we were thinking about having New Hampshire on that trip, and that is visiting the White Mountains to do some hiking. The White Mountains, they are the most rugged mountains in New England. Huge New England vibes.
We're thinking of very different things for New England vibes.
They also cover about 25% of New Hampshire. Isn't that wild?
Well, New Hampshire's pretty tiny, so.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. No, that's crazy to have 25% of your state covered in mountains. Yeah.
Okay. And then the thing that I really wanted to do, I remember like we were saying like, okay, well, like if we were going through, we would have time for like one big hike. What is that one big hike? Mount Washington, highest peak, 6,288 feet. This is a
Oh,
peak.
darn. I'm so sad we missed it. No, I'm just kidding.
You know?
Can't you drive to the top?
I don't know, but Mount Washington, this is a peak where they're like, you need to pack for any weather because it could be like 80 at the bottom and then freezing up top. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know. It just sounds interesting. It sounds sweet. I wanted to do the White Mountains. You wouldn't let me do the White Mountains.
That's not true. We just couldn't because of COVID regulations. We couldn't leave Vermont and come back.
Exactly.
In
You're
Vermont.
right.
Like we were originally going to do the White Mountains and then
the Green Mountains.
The Green Mountains, like do like Stowe. We were going to do that. And then we were going to do like the Hudson Valley in New York and the Adirondacks. That was like our full road trip, but we couldn't do that based on COVID rules.
Womp womp. Yeah, but that's New Hampshire. Number 5 is New Jersey.
And I picked what'd you pick?
I picked Jersey Shore beach hopping.
Oh boy.
What did you pick?
I picked Atlantic City. So kind of like the Vegas of the East, I suppose.
Okay.
But it's also like, it's more like, I mean, there's a boardwalk. It's much more, it's different than like Vegas. There are, of course, casinos if you want to do that. There's the Hard Rock, the Tropicana, Caesars. But I mean, it's a very, like, it's been around a long time. So you have the Atlantic City Boardwalk where there's shops and restaurants. It's been around since 1870. You have the beach. There's a lighthouse, just lots of cool things. And then you also have Lucy the Elephant, which is a 6-story elephant statue that you can visit as well. So it's like like you can definitely find things to do for like a family, but also if you want to party and things too. But it's like a cute little.
What is this tourist trap called?
Atlantic City.
There it is.
Okay. Atlantic City is what I picked for New Jersey.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I said what I picked and I didn't get to talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jersey Shore beach hopping. So, did you watch Jersey Shore growing up?
Not really. I got into like the hills and
love
Laguna
Jersey
Beach
Shore.
and
GTL.
okay, can I?
Cabs are here.
I mean, I heard about all of that, and you know what's funny is so I visited my friend he was at university in Plymouth.
Plymouth what?
In the UK, like in England.
Oh, okay.
And I met him when I was studying abroad, and I went to go visit him, and he got me into a show that's basically like the Jersey Shore of the UK. I feel like there's a few of them. There's like the Geordie Shore, but then the valleys, and it was from people from Wales who were going to move to Cardiff from around Wales and like try to make it as either a glam model or like a DJ or whatever, and it was chef's kiss fantastic. I couldn't get enough of it. So I watched that. Like I never watched like the Geordie Shore, which is also kind of like the Jersey Shore, but like Newcastle area. But like the valleys was so funny. And I think that's how I improved my like ability to like hear different accents, like English speaking accents from around the world. Cause like the valleys, they were thick. And I started picking up on like different slang terms, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I get, like it was funny. It was a really good, funny reality show. But anyway, Jersey Shore, you loved it.
I've never been to the Jersey Shore.
No, but you loved the show, apparently.
I didn't love it, but I thought it was entertaining. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
But I also did not know that, and I mean, it makes sense because New Jersey has a lot of coastline. I didn't know that there was like, I thought that there was like one location for like the beach on the Jersey Shore that like everyone went to. You know what I mean? But that's not true. There's a whole bunch of different beaches all along that are very, very popular. Okay. Some are Avalon, Cape May, North Wildwood, Ocean City, and they all kind of offer different atmospheres, different kind of beach situations. But
Guidos. No,
I think.
No, I also, a friend that I studied abroad with was from New Jersey. And
can we keep this in America for this episode, please?
Well, like, I just had a lot of New England people that I studied abroad with. I don't know, like 10 plus years ago. And she went to New Jersey. Like, she's from New Jersey, and she would go to the Jersey Shore sometimes. So, yeah. And she was like, it's fun. Like,
I just think, I mean, like, not necessarily like all the other stuff, but I think it would be neat to like drive along the coast.
Yeah.
And stop at a whole bunch of the beaches and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you need to say about countries abroad that are not a part of this episode, or are we good? You stateside again over there?
Stateside again.
All righty. I'm just giving you a hard time. We haven't recorded in a while, so.
Christopher's been pent up on, making fun of somebody for a while. No, I'm just kidding.
Goodness. Number 6 is New York.
I picked New York City.
That's what I picked.
Like, it's really hard to narrow it down to one thing in New York City. It's huge.
If you had one night in New York City, how would you spend it?
Like one day or one night?
One night.
Just one night in New York City.
Like. What if you could choose one thing to do in New York City? What would it be?
I would say Broadway.
That's what I would say as well.
Yeah.
I put other things down here too, like the Met, Empire State Building,
the Met's cool.
Times Square, September 11th Museum and Memorial, Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty, but
Central Park,
all
the cool neighborhoods and boroughs.
Yeah, but I think my big thing,
sports. You love sports.
I don't care who knows. My big thing was Broadway, though. That's what I thought of because I was like, I mean, it's just incredible. Yeah,
we went several years ago. We went to New York for a weekend, and we saw Aladdin on Broadway.
Yes.
And it was the genie who won a Tony, and I was like, it was so good. Like, it was
really good.
Yeah, Broadway, seeing. I've even seen, like, a play off Broadway, too, which was really fun. And it had, Larry David.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, you'll sometimes see celebrities.
The creator of Seinfeld.
Yeah. There literally are people that like are famous that are basically the guest show on Broadway. Cause I know that like, Hugh Jackman Did I say that right?
You did?
Yeah, he is like I mean, I know he was in the movie Les Mis, but he's also been in like other.
Do you walk around with like a little book and you're like, check, got him?
No, I just think that like they have really good. I mean, it's the best of the best as far as like dancers and singers and all sorts of things. So Broadway's really cool to see.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Number 7 is Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
What'd you pick for Pennsylvania?
I put Philadelphia.
I did too.
Yeah. We went to Philly last year and it was fantastic.
I really like Philadelphia.
I really loved it.
Independence National Historical Park, Philadelphia Museum of Art, Reading Terminal Market.
The market was fantastic.
I really enjoyed the market. Christchurch, Elfreth's Alley, the Betsy Ross House.
Yeah. And a lot very close together. Like we walked all over the
Love
city
Park.
and saw all of this. Love Park was great. Great brewery scene. So you have Other Half, Urban Village, Tired Hands, fantastic things. And then, you have the art museum that's famous.
I said the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
Like the Rocky, like running up the steps sort of thing. Philly cheesesteak. You know, we actually got a vegan version that was that was really, really good.
I like that Philly cheesesteak.
Like we just, it's good.
Tattooed Mom
was
and
fantastic.
Han Dynasty were two of the best restaurants that I ate at last year.
Yeah,
so freaking good.
Yeah, so highly recommend Philly. The food scene, the beer scene, their sports. You love sports.
I don't care who knows.
All of the historical sites. And
yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Number 8 is Rhode Island. Have you ever been to Rhode Island?
No, but we should go because one of our friends is moving there soon.
That is true. What is your Rhode Island
Newport
pick? That is mine as well.
Really?
I picked, okay. I think I was a little bit more specific. So why don't you talk about Newport first?
Let me just give you a little, Gilded Age. Remember, like, have you guys seen that show?
Oh, no.
No. Have you seen the show The Gilded Age? You haven't. Or have you?
Yes, I have. We watched episodes together.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yes, we did. We watched the first 2 episodes together.
And then you never watched it again.
Well, it does. I mean,
It's by the creator of Downton Abbey. So it's essentially during the Gilded Age in New York.
It was old money versus new money.
It is old money versus new money. But Newport was a huge place for the wealthy to build their little castles, on the beach and stuff like that. So, Newport, you've got things like what?
So you have things like The Breakers, which is a Gilded Age mansion. It was the summer residence of Cornelius Vanderbilt. I think it was the second is what I wrote down. That's where he was hanging out.
Yeah. If you ever thought, I don't know, that's sometimes what comes, when I'm just going for a walk. Where was Cornelius Vanderbilt the second summer? Like,
now you know.
Now you know.
You know where I summer? Right here.
Fair enough. There's the Cliff Walk, which is a 3.5-mile walkway along the shoreline.
Can I talk about this? Because that's my number one, or that's my one thing.
All right, you go for that. I already did my Gilded Age geek out.
Sorry, because I put some detail into the Newport Cliff Walk.
Wait, can I go back to the Gilded Age for a minute?
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry.
Here I am teeing up the Newport Cliff Walk.
By the way, if you're ever in New York City, I want to do this next time. It's the Bowery Boys. They do a lot of walks around New York about Gilded era things because a lot of stuff's been torn down, but there are a few mansions left that are either museums and things, and they'll take you through that era in New York. They have tours.
Hold on. Do you have any other things about
No, that's
Newport,
it.
or that's it? Just the Gilded Age?
No. Oh, sorry. Easton's Beach, Castle Hill Lighthouse, Brenton Point State Park, Fort Adams State Park, International Tennis Hall of Fame. You like sports. And I
like tennis too.
You do like tennis.
Dare I say I love tennis?
You can love tennis if you want.
Love?
Yeah. Okay.
Deuces. All right. All right, Rhode Island. Newport Cliff Walk. You mentioned this. It's a 3.5-mile walk. It is actually also the only national recreational trail set within a national historic district. So kind of a little nesting dolls of national things there. There are 16 points of interest. along the cliff walk, which goes all along Easton Bay. And, oh my gosh, why can't I read my writing here?
I do that all the time. Wait, while you're figuring that out, sorry.
I'm just going to say Easton Bay.
Yeah, Easton's Beach. I talk about that.
Yeah, I know, but
there's
it's
the bay.
There. So the bay is out there. That's the water. And then as it gets up on land, I would dare say that they call that the beach portion of it.
Okay.
I missed recording. This is fun.
I'm glad you've missed it. Yay.
Have you missed it?
I have. It's been a while. Yeah.
Bienvenue à la maison. Welcome home.
Thanks. Kisses.
Merci. Alrighty.
Yikes.
I think our last state of the series.
Mm-hmm.
VT.
Vermont. Yeah.
Let's both talk about it here.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Stowe.
Stowe was delightful. Quintessential New England vibes, if you will.
I knew you were going to say New England vibes again.
It's a vibe.
I loved Stowe.
I did too.
Absolutely.
I could easily just spend like a week there enjoying nature and just like Stowe, New England vibes in general.
I would love to go like the back half of summer, fall, and then get out of there before like...
You don't want to ski in the winter?
No. I'm saying like get out of there before like some of the roads close, like Smuggler's Notch closes or something like that.
Yeah.
Stowe was incredible. So first of all, well, I'm not going to start with beer first. I'm going to start with hiking. We stayed along Smuggler's Notch, which was just gorgeous. We hiked Sterling Pond, a portion of the Long Trail, Stowe Pinnacle, which was...
That was otherworldly.
Gorgeous hike.
It wasn't too bad of a hike. We get to the top, and it was, I guess, early enough in the morning to where the fog and the clouds were starting to dissipate, but we were above the clouds for a minute, and then it started to dissipate, and that's when you see all the charming little like farms below and the mountains, and it was absolutely stunning. VNE
vibes. Yeah, and then we went all around and saw the beautiful covered bridges, and then we had some great food and drink. Focal Banger, Farmer's Daughter, Heady Topper
from the Alchemist.
We had a great dinner at the Trapp Family Lodge that was just gorgeous scenery. That was the beginning of you asking me what my favorite cheese is on a cheese board, me telling you, and then you waiting until there's one piece left and throwing it on the ground. We also had wonderful sandwiches post-hike at Two Suns. We enjoyed afternoon drinks at Stowe Cider.
Yeah.
And we had a very romantic dinner at Cork.
And I really liked Picasso. It was good pizza.
Picasso was good pizza, yeah.
Trapp Family Lodge is fantastic. It's where the Von Trapp family settled. So they ended up settling in Vermont in this beautiful, idyllic, Austrian-inspired lodge, and you're surrounded by mountains, and it's breathtaking. We had dinner there. Your parents stayed there when they went to Vermont and absolutely loved it.
They fancy.
Plenty of hiking trails and things like that to do at Stowe Family Lodge as well.
There's a lot of vegetation, too. I would say that they're planty.
Okay. They do. They have beautiful flower beds. Chef's kiss. But it's a cute village. There's also the Stowe Gondola Sky Ride that you can go up and check out as well for some awesome views. Again, Smuggler's Notch is fantastic, but you also are near Cabot's Family Store, so cheese, Ben & Jerry's Factory, so ice cream, and then Cold Hollow Cider Mill, which is like the best apple cider donuts you'll ever have in your life. And the apple cider was so good, and you can buy any and every maple thing you could think of there. So fantastic. We absolutely fell in love with Stowe. Would go back in a heartbeat. I think we have a podcast episode about Stowe, don't we?
Yes, we do. And you also have a Stowe portion of your Vermont road trip itinerary on Worldwide Honeymoon.
Yes. Definitely check that out. We absolutely loved exploring Vermont in the fall. We spent like 9 days there, like a week, and it was fantastic. But that wraps up.
That's the entire U.S.
All of the states, all the top things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this was a really fun series.
This was a really fun series.
Thank
you, Carrie, for suggesting it.
Yes. And it made me really appreciate, and I know I've said this before on the podcast too, but like when we think of where to travel, I think quite often you and I immediately think of outside the border. Right?
Yeah.
And this kind of showed me that even for some states that aren't necessarily thought of as like tourist destinations, like ours, Ohio being one of them, there's something pretty darn cool to do in every single state.
Yeah, and I love that this episode proves that there's something cool to do in every state. Like, not like every state is certainly worth visiting for its very unique things to do.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, thank you for the suggestion, Carrie. This has been all the different top things to do in each and every state in the United States. But if you guys have other episode suggestions, we love to receive them. I think we have a couple more in the pipeline that'll be coming out soon. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you want to reach us, you can reach us on Twitter, WW Honeymoon, Instagram at Worldwide Honeymoon, or email kat@worldwidehoneymoon.com. But thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to rate and review our podcast. It takes less than a few minutes and really helps other people find us. Also, if you're enjoying this awesome free information on both the blog and podcast, when you're booking your next trip, head over to worldwidehoneymoon.com/resources and use the links provided. We earn a small commission at no cost to you when you book through these links, and these are all brands and companies we know, love, and use, like Skyscanner for finding the best flight prices, World Nomads for the best travel insurance, TripAdvisor for hotel bookings and reviews, and even Amazon for all of your travel purchases.
Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Wherever you are, wherever you go, remember to make every day a worldwide honeymoon.